Hi, this is Ron Janish, and what we're going to be talking about today is a specific technique that we're going to discuss in detail at the one of the breakouts at the seminar this summer. So if you can, join us for the summer seminar. This is a newsletter that was sent out by Dr. Alan Andrews. And in this newsletter, if you really look on tiny things here, you'll see that the date is March 1st, 1974, and he says a whole bunch of things here, and then I have this little thing here on top, uh, basically to cover some information. And what it says here is important new method. You can find the position at which you may maximize your profits by use of a method never explained before. You can now take positions very close to the pivot extreme as shown on the reasons for action column of this week's newsletter. That's over here. Okay. And he talks about the method was known as the older method, but now he calls it the OR method as it is abbreviated. Will be of inestimable value to those with responsibility for handling the always insufficient investment portfolio of churches, colleges, and other elementary institutions. Or is that elementary? Anyway, the reason for insufficient word is because my alma mater, with well over $1 billion, the largest of any college, that was Harvard, I guess, is always sending out propaganda and letters trying to get more gifts to use as they choose without any strings attached to the gift. ORE, or, seems appropriate in order to save words, for it is rich ore, and there is truly Geld in them their hills, or gold in them their hills, I'm sorry, gold, and valleys of the price fluctuations in stocks and futures. And then he talks about the profit and all that other stuff in it. Okay, so I'm going to show you this technique and some of the basis behind it. Okay, let's go over here to this is a gold chart. This is your center line using the OR technique. Now, using the standard Andrews center line, he would suggest, well, try peak to low line. So you draw a line from the low to the peak, and then you would maybe take this here as an action point, go down to here. Whoops, that's wrong. And okay, so this would be your action point, and then your center line is your peak to low line. See the line in the middle? And it sort of lines up, and we see that it didn't work that well. Okay, but it worked okay. Prices kind of broke through, and you would probably have to have guessed that it would been a second point that might be more beneficial. Let's see, and it wasn't that much more beneficial. Anyway, but that's okay because you have several different several different center lines that you can use. And as Roger Babson said in his writings, the trick is finding the right center line. So let's take another center line, and another center line would be the what's called the 0,4. Okay, so you draw a line from here to the say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you simply use that center line and take this as an action point and see where this comes out. And yeah, it's not bad. That's pretty close, not bad at all. Let's see what happens, just for grins, if we go out to this point here and take this here as an action point. Well, that doesn't really work. Okay, so let's see what happens if we use the older method, the OR line, right? This is the OR line. How is this determined? There is a rather complex procedure that that you have to go through, and so. But anyway, this is the line here. So if that's your center line, then let's see. Okay. Well, that didn't, that picked that point off. That's nice. Beautiful, beautiful. So effectively, if you think about it, what this does is it helps you find the reaction point. And this is, you know, but the reason I tested this out and stuff like that was because this guy Kevin's been on the phone hounding me to do an intraday seminar. And I'm thinking, what can I really do on an intraday seminar that I haven't done before? So, because after all, if you read that wonderful article in Traders World magazine, you'd learn all about action-reaction lines. So let's see. Wait a minute. What am I doing? What am I doing? I'm just clicking buttons. Let's do something useful. Okay, let's click some useful buttons. Okay, now let's take a look here. Here we go. Okay, here we have, let's say you have this much data and you have the market going down. Okay, so here's your ORE center line. Okay, so you take this point here, take this point here, and you take a look at this one up here, and maybe one or two other ones, and you draw this here, and let's see what happens. Oh, how sweet. Now, of course, everybody knows that I tested this out ahead of time, right? And this was around the 23rd. This was the 30th of January. So let's go back in time and let's see if it worked or how well it worked at the other points. Now, first what I did was I looked at 15-minute charts. And I guess this is around the beginning of March. And I assumed this was the low and this was the high. And then I calculated the ORE line. It was this one here. And so action, reaction, and there we went. And so then I said, well, just for grins, let's see what happens on the next one. Okay, and so this was the low, and this was the high, and this was your ORE line, and here was your action, and here was your reaction. Okay, didn't work as perfectly as the previous one. Now, think of it this way. The purpose of the ORE lines is to help you in finding the end of a correction that you might normally find with Fibonacci retracement or some other kind of oscillator that's helpful to you. Okay, so much for 15-minute. So what I did was I looking back here, here's the 2nd of January. Okay, and so here's that first period up, and I'm looking for a multi-day correction. And so this was our OR line, and here's your action, and here's your reaction. Okay, and so moving along, where we get to that was the 9th, and so here was the 9th here, and then it went up again. Okay, and so we drew our OR line, and we had our action and reaction, and it stopped on the first one and went a little further and stopped and finally reversed on the second one. And this was a nice one. This was the one I initially showed you where I drew the ORE one. Here, the first one I drew in the ES. Okay, and then we move on to the correction that happened in around the around the 5th or 6th or so of February, and we see that this was the up move, and here was your ORE line right there in the middle. Here's your action, here's your reaction. Okay, and so moving a little further in time. Let's see. See what we have here. I had to move down to the 6th of February. Do I have anything else besides there? No. Okay. So, prices went up, they came down, and so I found another one here, which was the which was right here in March. Okay, and it just plunged through the first one and then stopped at the second one. And if it plunges through, then plunges through. It's not that good. And so this is what we're projecting as the next one. I can't quite believe that there's, yeah, there we go, Okay, here we go. I missed some. Yeah, I know I missed one. This was around the 20th. Okay, and prices went up and made new highs, and they came down, made a nice action, and deemed this here as the first reaction line and plunged right through, which it does. If it plunges through, hey, leave it alone. And here's the second one. Okay, and so it stopped there, and then prices went, that was this point here, and so we drew the new line and came up here, and here was your first one, this was your second one. And so this is the ORE method. We're going to go in detail on this at the special breakout session at the seminar we're going to have. And so if you'd like to join us at the seminar, please do. If you're interested in software which supports this and like to work on the development of that, let me know. And we'll see if we can get together on something. Anyway, this is Ron Janisch. My email address is support@andrewscourse.com. And if you're interested in the course, come take it. And this has been a bit of information about the ORE method. Oh, when's the seminar? The seminar is in the middle of June. Okay, that is when we're having our seminar. If you want more information, write to me about it. Okay?